We grow up being told that being a good person is the highest achievement of life. Be kind, be selfless, always put others before yourself, and the world will somehow reward you. But what George Orwell understood, and what many of us eventually discover, is that goodness is not as simple or as safe as we imagine. There is a paradox in being a good person. The very qualities that make you moral can also make you vulnerable. And the very society that praises goodness can just as easily exploit it. The double-edged sword of morality. Think about kindness. On one hand, kindness builds trust, love, and connection. It gives meaning to relationships and softens the harshness of existence. But kindness without boundaries turns into self-destruction. People who are too good often find themselves drained, manipulated, or even discarded once their usefulness runs out. This is the paradox Orwell recognized in his writings. When you live in a society shaped by power, not truth, goodness can actually become dangerous. The honest man is crushed by the machinery of corruption. The kind man is used by the ruthless. The selfless man is forgotten by the selfish. Goodness is not enough to protect you. In fact, it may be the very thing that makes you an easy target. George Orwell didn't just write stories about dystopias like 1984 and Animal Farm to entertain us. He wrote them as warnings. He saw with chilling clarity how systems of power manipulate morality. In Animal Farm, the noble ideas of equality and fairness are hijacked, twisted, and used to control the very animals who believed in them. The good-hearted ones are the first to suffer. The hopeful are betrayed. The naive are sacrificed. The warning is clear. Being good without being wise is dangerous. And being moral without being courageous is useless. Why good people suffer? Ask yourself, why is it that the most generous people often struggle the most? Why do the people who live by honesty and fairness often feel unseen in a world that rewards ambition, deceit, and selfishness? It's because society doesn't always reward goodness, it rewards usefulness. If your goodness benefits others, they'll praise you. If your goodness gets in the way of their desires, they'll discard you. That's the paradox. The very thing that makes you admirable can also make you invisible. But here's the part we rarely acknowledge. Sometimes being too good isn't just harmful to you, it's harmful to the world. Because when goodness comes without strength, it creates space for evil to grow. History shows us this pattern again and again. Good people stay silent in the face of injustice because they don't want to cause conflict. They turn the other cheek when cruelty takes power. They avoid being mean, even when firmness is required. And in doing so, they become complicit. Not intentionally, not maliciously, but through their weakness. This was Orwell's deepest warning. Morality without courage doesn't stop tyranny, it enables it. So what does it really mean to be a good person in a world like this? It means something different than what we're taught as children. It's not about always saying yes. It's about knowing when to say no. It's not about pleasing everyone. It's about standing for something, even when it makes you unpopular. It's not about blind kindness. It's about kindness with strength. Goodness is not softness. Goodness is strength directed toward what is right. To be good in Orwell's sense is not to be naive, but to be awake. To see the lies of society, the manipulations of power, and the self-deception within ourselves, and still choose to act with integrity. Here's the test. If your goodness is easy, it probably isn't real goodness. Real goodness requires sacrifice. It requires choosing the harder path. It requires telling the truth when lies are safer. It requires defending others when silence is easier. And sometimes it requires walking away from people, systems, or beliefs that exploit your kindness. Orwell's world wasn't a distant dystopia. It was a reflection of the one we already live in. And in that world, being good is not about being liked. It's about being unbreakable. So maybe the paradox of being a good person is this: true goodness will cost you. It will not guarantee you happiness, wealth, or even safety. In fact, it might strip those things away. But without goodness, without courage, without truth, the world collapses into darkness. George Orwell's warning wasn't just about governments or power structures. It was about us. About what happens when good people stop being strong, and when strong people stop being good. The paradox is that goodness makes you vulnerable. But the only thing more dangerous than being good is not being good at all.